There are a lot of characters on The Rookie that the viewers loved from the moment that they first appeared on screen, but there's also a lot of characters who have always had a negative stigma involved with their name. However, not many characters have made the transition from being one of the most disliked characters in the show to being a character that people have fallen in love with. Today, I'm going to talk about the story of Officer Celina Juarez, a character who went from hated to loved by the fanbase over the course of the last 3 seasons of The Rookie. But before we can talk about the version of Celina that people adore nowadays, we have to head all the way back to the beginning of Season 5 to the version of her that people hated. She was introduced shortly into the season in Season 5, Episode 3, Die Hard. And during the roll call, everything seemed fine. She seems well-adjusted, willing to drop the academics in exchange for actual police experience, and responds to others very well. That is, until we get to when Nolan and her arrive at the shop. And Nolan gets a whiff of a unique smell.
Was someone smoking weed in here?
I think that was me.
He thinks that it's weed at first, and is very concerned when Celina says that it would be her. But then she explains what she did to the shop in order to have good luck on her first day. And while Nolan thought this was unconventional, he didn't think much of it, and they continued on with their first day of patrol. As they're driving, getting to know each other, Celina sees a silver Honda pass by her, and she immediately puts on her lights and pulls her over. Usually in this scenario, you're supposed to call it in first, but she did not do that. That was her first mistake. It's not the biggest one in the world, but it's later in this stop where she makes some truly fatal errors. What's the first thing that Celina asks the lady once she rolls up to the window? Asking for her ID? Asking for registration? No.
Ma'am, I'd like to take a look in your trunk.
Which is a clear violation of the lady's rights, as there was no probable cause or warrant to search the vehicle. Nolan rings her through the coals for this, but unfortunately, Celina doesn't end up seeing much wrong with this stop, as she did end up being right about her bad feeling. There was blood in the car, and they started an investigation. But Nolan isn't the only one to chew her out. Tim doubles down on it by saying if she ever does something like this again, she is out of the LAPD for good. Then Harper chews out both Celina and Nolan since she trained Nolan better than this. This blood was the only lead to a person who had been missing for 3 days at this point. And now, since this was a bad stop, they can't use it to continue with the lead. This was a rough first day for Celina, but it's not over just yet. When looking into Harvin on foot patrol, Celina gives him a very suspicious look, which sends Harvin running. Celina tries to keep up with him, but then he ends up getting away. This is another strike against Celina. At the end of the day, it's unclear whether she's gonna be washed out or not. On one hand, what she did was wrong on an incredible level. Using a bad feeling to look into a dark aura without probable cause violated so many policies and laws. But at the same time, as Nolan points out, it is her first day, which may mean that her failure would be put on him rather than her. The next day, Celina tells Nolan about her dream that she had about Jill last night while she was looking into Tyler Harvin. At first, it didn't seem like anything of note, as she was just talking about a knight with a crown and whatnot. But she then mentions things that do make sense, such as the beach, his contracting jobs which would give him access to a place to hide Jill, as well as the work for a royal hand construction. This is when Nolan finally starts to figure out Celina. These auras and dreams that she's having are not baseless, but it's not auras. It's her subconscious processing the information around her. They make it to the house that Jill supposedly could have been hidden at, and they find her tied to the bed, covered in blood and gagged. But luckily, she's still alive. Tyler pulls up, and Celina goes after him again. She and Tyler end up getting lost in the woods, and Nolan has to go after her. But on a personal note, if she lost him the first time, why did she go after him again? I don't know, but I digress. She ends up catching him, but she gets pinned down by Tyler. Luckily, Nolan finds her and they arrest Tyler Harvin, and the case is solved. Then lastly, at the end of this episode, we learn about her backstory and why she put so much thought into her intuition. When she was 9 years old, she lost her sister to an abduction, and it wasn't the cops who found her. It was the psychic that her mom hired. This is what Nolan needed to hear to be able to trust his gut, and he doesn't wash her out. She lives to see another day. When this episode first released, people were not happy about Celina as a whole. It was one of the strongest negative reactions to a character that the fanbase had ever seen, but it wasn't entirely unwarranted. The auras and spiritual themes blending with police work was not received well by the audience, and trust me, the audience made sure their opinions were heard. This new rookie is really fucking annoying. Nolan, please listen to me as your new rookie. But my dark aura senses are tingling. I wouldn't mind if the new rookie was ignorant, nervous, quick to reach conclusions, etc. I can't stand that they would make her so defiant and insubordinate and not wash her out immediately. Defying more experienced cops who rely on you for their own safety as well as the public's was presented as being ultra important, as it should be. Yet she continually defied others, putting investigations and people's lives at risk, and had her hand gently slapped. Good intentions and psychological motivations don't justify dangerously defiant behavior. Ridiculous. There were also a lot of people showing sympathy for Nolan for having to deal with her as well. I feel for Nolan. What was he supposed to do the first time? Physically detain her when she got out of the car? And the second time, how can he force her to stay in the house? He did what he could. She was literally ignoring him and jumped out of the car. What could he have done? Arrested her? I wish. But interestingly, as I was looking into what people thought about her, I found some people theorizing about her. There are people that rightfully predicted that she would improve as time went on, and I found that super intriguing. Not too bad. The new rookie at first was cuckoo, but later on in the episode, we find out why she's so superstitious. To be honest, I think as time goes on, she'll probably make a decent character. That's the vibe I got from Juarez. I really don't like her as she is right now, but it's clear that she can grow. Time will tell if she actually does. And I am super happy that these people ended up being right about her. Unfortunately, these changes weren't very quick. It took a majority of the 5th season to really get anywhere with her. People still complained about her episode after episode, but I would say the height of when people hated her most was in season 5, episode 19, A Hole in the World, when the backstory of Celina's sister was dug into more. When a 6-year-old girl named Olivia went missing, they found out that, just like Celina's mother, as well as the other victims, the mother had a history of drug abuse. It's the same guy who took Celina's sister. And this is when we meet Officer Chambers, the man who helped with the Blanca case when it happened all those years ago. Nolan is immediately suspicious of Chambers, and you can see it in his face.
Can I offer a hand?
Oh, sir, I can't let anyone inside without detective approval.
I promise I know better than to contaminate a crime scene.
Rules are rules.
She's a good kid.
Nolan did some digging during this time and found out about Chambers losing custody of his daughter at 6 years old. And today is also his daughter's birthday. It's also found out that Chambers was called to all of these mothers' houses multiple times before the abduction, allowing him to get close access to them, as well as their homes and families. They start to keep eyes on Chambers, and then Chambers gets away on a motorcycle. He is on the run, and when they follow him to the house where Olivia is held, there's a standoff, and they successfully get Olivia back, but not without Tim having to shoot Chambers. When I first watched this episode, this is personally where Celina started to turn around for me, and I went online trying to find people that agreed with my stance to put it in this video. But when I did so, I found out that I am in the minority here. People actually hated Celina during this episode, more than ever before. I couldn't find one good opinion of her when talking about this episode. Celina is crazy insubordinate. When she told Gray/Bradford or Nolan's wrong, you're questioning your TO in front of his superiors. And of course, when she berated Gray, asking, how could you let this happen? She has no respect for authority or chain of command. Nolan is a terrible TO. He has taught her nothing and corrected her even less. And it's insane no other officer has stepped in to straighten her out. She should have immediately been relieved of duty after that outburst. Then the part where she just runs up to the child basically put everyone in danger. It was so frustrating to watch. This episode is making me hate Celina even more than I already did. Like, I understand this is hard for her, but she never should have been allowed to work this case. Low-key wanted Bradford to shoot into her when she freaked out at him. 1, Nolan is the worst training officer, and 2, her feelings and intuitions are back again. I genuinely was shocked when reading all this. So now you're probably wondering, when do people start liking her? Well, it didn't happen over a single episode, but it happened because of what the writers had done for her character and her personality. One of the biggest problems that people had with Celina was that she put so much stock into her spirituality to the point where it seeped into her police work. But as time went on, she stopped using it at work, and the only time she would bring it up or do anything involving it would be outside of work or not related to the work she's doing, which made people feel a lot better about it. Then they started to write her lines better as a whole. They changed the way that Celina's humor was written, and Liseth was able to deliver the humor in such an amazing way. Celina has genuinely become one of my favorites because of how dry her humor is sometimes. Celina fans, fans, rise up. The actress has gotten a lot better since her first appearance. I love the way she delivers her lines now. Feels effortless. She is one of my favorite characters now, and I couldn't stand her at first. This season especially, she shines. I love the episode of her playing Clothes Day. Her putting a crystal on the wheel was hilarious. I hope they don't write her off. Between the end of season 5 to around the beginning of season 7, the writers really turned her character around. They also created an amazing dynamic between her and quite a lot of characters. Her father-daughter type friendship with Nolan, her sisterly friendship with Lucy, and the very close friendship she formed with Aaron. And I am super upset that they got rid of Aaron when season 7 started, because then we lost this dynamic. And I am not the only one who is upset by this. I really like her and Aaron and their friendship. I'll miss that whole dynamic. I miss her friendship with Aaron. Seriously, can we start a petition on bringing him back? Just scrolling through social media, you can see the love she receives now. It's endless. Celina definitely grew on me. Won't lie, I found her super annoying at the start, but I've come to appreciate her character. I love Celina. Didn't like her at first, but now she's one of my faves. At first, she annoyed the hell out of me when she was introduced, but she quickly started to grow on me. Also, she is just really okay, buddy, digital footprint. But it's clear that Celina Juarez had turned over a new leaf with the audience. And it all happened without a specific episode in mind. The writers listened to the critiques and adapted her in a way that almost everybody can enjoy her character. I say almost everybody because there are still people that dog on her for the spirituality stuff as a whole and want it gone completely. But honestly, I don't agree. Characters need to be unique, and as long as those unique traits don't affect their police work, I don't see an issue with them having their own personal hobbies or interests. But let me know in the comments. What do you think of Celina? Did she get better for you? Or was she always good or bad to you? Make sure to hype up this video if you're on mobile to show me some love, and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.